Ronnie Hickman, one of two undrafted free agents as rookies that made the squad this season. He talked about getting help from his teammates to be comfortable, especially the veteran Rodney McLeod.
100%. A big thing that, I'm fortunate to be a part of was just being able to be a sponge to a guy like Rodney, a guy with a lot of years and experience under his belt. And luckily, he was willing to share it all. Whether it was questions, just off the field, on the field, he was a guy who was like an open book. So myself and pretty much everyone in the room, including coaches, was able to learn from him. And, he's 12 years in the league, so, he knows a lot.
D'Anthony went through took the same path a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you kind of commiserate with him on?
Yeah, any quick questions I had about this whole undrafted process, I was right in D'Anthony's ear, just because, like you said, he came from it. He did the exact same thing I did. So he's been a huge help as well.
G-Bush, I don't know about you, but the one thing about Ronnie Hickman, and I know they weren't playing against starters and he wasn't doing it, he was around the ball. And if you're around the ball, that means you got football instincts, and those are the things that carry over. It doesn't matter how he will adjust to the speed because he understands where the ball is going to be.
And that's the thing when you talk about playmakers. And the Browns haven't had enough of those guys. Playmakers is used as a term used lightly, but we can't do that when it comes to this Cleveland Browns team because they have not had playmakers like that. Take a look at last year, one of the worst teams in the league in getting turnovers. Ronnie Hickman this year, 3 interceptions. I know he came against the 2s and the 3s, but that's half the battle. You can only play what you can play. His controllables are, what do you do on the field when you're out there? You can't control what the other team is doing. You can't control what the other team, who they're going to play. What do you do when you're out there? And all the guy did is make plays. I like the fact that I like this room a lot better than I did last year. We can't afford to come out like they did last year, the first 3-4 games all year, and have guys busting assignments. And I think that's another thing that we look at is I'm seeing guys being able to be more instinctive and Juan Thornhill and be by the ball with a pick 6. I'm seeing guys be able to be more instinctive, getting downhill tackle in the football. Ronnie Hickman is an undrafted guy around the football. So what that means is it's a field where guys are going out there playing fast, being able to play free, and being able to have the mobility and the lateral, the aptitude to make plays when they come your way. So that's another part of Jim Schwartz that I love about it. And you're now starting to see with these cut downs. With the cut downs, you're starting to see the Cleveland Browns having an opportunity to put more guys on the roster. And you look at it, before, some of these guys will be penciled in as starters. Now you're starting to see a guy like Maurice Hurst was brought back in his own active roster, and he had a really good camp. Now you're starting to see the depth build up where now you're going to be letting good guys go. You're going to be having guys that probably could make another team that are going to be out on the waiver wires because you have depth now. So I'm excited to see a guy like Ronnie Hickman make his stamp in the league. D'Anthony Bell, they're going to be really used on special teams. Ronnie Hickman is a personal protector. Really, really, really important position on special teams. He's the quarterback out there. So I'm looking to see what those guys can do on special teams. Him and D'Anthony Bell, Adams, and a few other guys that are going to probably make their hay in this league, starting off at least on special teams.
The other thing is, the veterans that they brought in, Thornhill, Shelby Harris, Zadarius Smith, McLeod, these are guys that when you hear them talk, they expect to win. They're guys that are they're winners, for lack of a better term. You couldn't always say that about the free agents that came in here.
Couldn't. These guys are coming from the Chiefs. These guys are coming from teams like the Eagles. These guys have won championships, right? And they're going to come in here and they're not going to look around and they don't want to start losing now. They've been around some of the brightest minds in the game. They've been around some of the, even when we had all pros like Joe Thomas and Josh Cribbs, those guys couldn't come in and tell you what it felt like to be in a playoff series or be in an AFC championship game or even know what it feels like to even be close to a Super Bowl. So now what you've got is guys in that locker room that have a certain standard. That standard is now going to be something that they're trying to build where it's like, look, when you play for the Browns, we're trying to be perennial you guys in the playoffs. Not just once, not just twice. Heck, Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing record since he's been there. We need to start seeing some of that, and I think it's establishing that. It takes a couple of things, drafting well, developing guys, getting some depth in here, and the free agents that you do bring in having a certain pedigree and it fit a certain description or mode. Now that they're in your program, and I think that can help you get over the hump and building a sustainable winning culture.